Transgender rights have become a major cultural and political flashpoint in America, and at the center of the storm is Congresswoman Nancy Mace. She's introduced controversial legislation targeting transgender individuals' access to public restrooms, claiming it's about protecting women's safety. But is that really the case? Or is this part of a broader strategy to use cultural issues for political gain? Hi everyone, welcome back to Trend Vault. Today, we're diving into the details of Nancy Mace's anti-trans bathroom bill, the backlash it's generated, and what it tells us about the larger political climate. We'll also hear from voices in the transgender community to understand the real-world impact of these policies.
Of all of the things happening in the world, Nancy Mace is very distressed, it seems, about trans women using bathrooms in the Capitol. Now, here's something that's a little awkward for her, given her position. Trans women used bathrooms in the Capitol through all 4 years of the Trump administration.
There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. Who is Nancy Mace? To understand what's happening now, let's first take a closer look at Nancy Mace. Mace is the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, South Carolina's military college, which has helped her cultivate an image of resilience and trailblazing. Early in her career, Mace often positioned herself as a moderate. She was elected to Congress in 2020, representing South Carolina's 1st congressional district. She pushed for bipartisanship on issues like cannabis legalization and mental health resources. But in recent years, her rhetoric has shifted to align more closely with hardline conservative positions, particularly on cultural issues like abortion and LGBTQ+ rights. In November, Nancy Mace introduced legislation aimed at banning transgender individuals from using public restrooms that align with their gender identity in federally funded facilities.
This is only the start, and I'm not going to stop. They are threatening to kill me over this. Men that want to use women's restrooms are threatening to kill me over this issue. Good luck. I was the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina, and if we haven't met yet, I want all the bullies online to know you will not bully me into submission. I can't be threatened. You can't threaten my life enough. That means I'm just going to...
Mace argues this bill is necessary to protect women and girls from potential predators. But here's the thing, there's no evidence to support this claim. In fact, groups like the ACLU have pointed out that these laws do more harm than good, as they increase harassment and violence against transgender people.
Police are investigating the death of a transgender woman who was shot and killed Saturday, just weeks after a video was posted of her being brutally beaten. And we want to warn you, some of what you're about to see is graphic. Anna Werner reports.
This time it was me, the next time it could be someone else, close to you.
Less than a month after speaking out about her attack, Malaysia Booker was found shot to death in a Dallas neighborhood.
Upon arrival, officers found the complainant lying face down in the street, deceased from homicidal violence.
Booker's previous assault in April was captured on cell phone video. The 23-year-old told authorities she was beaten following a minor traffic accident and said her attackers used homophobic slurs. Authorities charged Edward Thomas with aggravated assault. Although it was flagged as a hate crime, gender identity is not listed under Texas's hate crime statute.
Studies have consistently shown that allowing transgender individuals to use bathrooms that match their gender identity does not compromise safety. Transgender individuals are far more likely to be victims of violence in public spaces than perpetrators of it. To really understand Mace's actions, we need to look at the bigger picture. Across the United States, 2024 has seen an unprecedented wave of anti-transgender legislation. Over 500 bills have been introduced this year alone, targeting everything from healthcare access to participation in sports. Why? Because cultural issues like transgender rights have become a cornerstone of the Republican Party's strategy. It appeals to conservative voters who feel traditional values are under threat, while also distracting from larger legislative debates. Mace's bill fits neatly into this strategy. By focusing on these topics, the GOP energizes its base and shifts the conversation away from economic challenges or policy failures. After introducing the bathroom bill, Nancy Mace took to social media to defend her position.
What is this?
This says you can't erase us, Nancy. Well, then you shouldn't try to erase women. I have to say, for any man that wants to be in a woman's restroom, bathroom, dressing room, locker room, absolutely not.
In just 24 hours, she posted over 50 times about transgender people. Many of her posts were inflammatory, accusing critics of ignoring women's safety. This kind of rhetoric isn't just divisive, it's dangerous. LGBTQ+ advocacy groups have warned that such language contributes to a hostile climate where transgender individuals face increased stigma and violence. Protests erupted outside Mace's office, with demonstrators calling for her to retract the bill and apologize for her harmful statements. But instead of engaging in meaningful dialogue, Mace doubled down on her position, framing herself as a defender of traditional values. This isn't the first time we've seen politicians use marginalized groups as scapegoats. In the 20th century, civil rights activists faced similar legislative battles over public spaces. Segregation laws were justified with claims about safety and social order, arguments that, in hindsight, we know were rooted in prejudice rather than fact.
What will happen now? We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop.
Today, the same logic is being applied to transgender individuals. By framing their presence in public bathrooms as a threat, politicians like Nancy Mace are perpetuating harmful stereotypes and reinforcing systemic discrimination. For transgender individuals, bills like Nancy Mace's bathroom legislation aren't just political posturing. They're real threats to safety, dignity, and everyday life. Transgender people already face significant challenges in public spaces. According to a 2021 study from the National Center for Transgender Equality, nearly 60% of transgender individuals reported avoiding public restrooms entirely out of fear of harassment, assault, or even arrest. To put this into perspective, imagine planning your entire day around avoiding a bathroom. This is a reality for many trans people, students, workers, parents, who simply want to exist in public spaces without fear.
Adult and mature enough to determine what they want out of this life. I cannot press my Islamic ideology into someone's life. I don't want anyone else to press his ideology into this life.
Leave us alone! 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 Leave us trans kids alone! Leave trans kids alone! Leave trans kids alone! Leave trans kids alone!
I've got some trans friends and family, and I don't like to see them threatened by people who are really just advocating the elimination of them from society.
Okay.
I'm not buying any story about protecting children. That's complete nonsense.
So, what's really driving Nancy Mace's bathroom bill? While she claims it's about safety, the evidence doesn't add up. Instead, it fits into a broader pattern of targeting marginalized communities as part of the GOP's culture war strategy. But at what cost? For transgender individuals, these bills have real and devastating consequences, stripping away basic dignity and safety. The question we have to ask is this: are we going to let fear and misinformation dictate policy, or are we going to listen to the voices of those most affected? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is this truly about safety, or is it a political distraction? I want to hear what you think.
That's exactly
You're not
what
answering
you're
the
doing.
question.
I think it's disgusting.
Well, you're welcome to say that, but you have to answer the question. Why are you supporting someone who's been found liable for rape?
I just answered your question.
What is the answer?
He was not found guilty in a criminal court of law. It was sexual abuse. It wasn't actually rape, by the way. And E. Jean Carroll joked about all the money she's going to get and made a mockery out of this case. And I think that's offensive. There's a reason why women don't come forward. And when you have someone who says that they're raped and they make a mockery out of this civil court judgment, It's offensive to other women. It makes it harder for other women to come forward when another woman has made a mockery of it.
You said women don't come forward because they are afraid. They are afraid because they are defamed
and shamed,
by those
like you're trying to shame me this morning.
They are afraid to come forward, as you said, because they are defamed by those who commit the rape. That's what Donald Trump has been found guilty of doing.
He defended himself over that and denies that it ever happened, but he was not found guilty in a criminal court of law.